Ooh. Oh.
Yeah.
Is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Last we will reveal ourselves.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
You are now tuned to LightSaber Radio. If you only knew the power of Dodson.
Here it comes.
Let's go. You are now tuned in to LightSaber Radio. 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
Oh, we are here, we are back, and welcome to LightSaber Radio, your weekly hive of scum and villainy for anything and everything Star Wars. Thank you for joining us this week. What I'd argue our best episode yet. Today, we are joined by none other than the musician, actor, and CFX artist, Details. Welcome to the show, my man.
Welcome to the show.
Radio.
Yes, let's go. As always, to our regular and new viewers, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to join our live shows on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And if you like this video, drop us a like because it means the whole galaxy. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
Good morning, everybody. What's going on, Nick? What's going on, Chris?
Oh my goodness, what an episode this week. Details, it's amazing to have you with us. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This is huge for us. I'm not going to sit here and gush the whole episode, I promise, but thank you.
Oh, thank you guys so much for the invite.
So welcome. Garrison, do you have a Hothbreaker for us this morning?
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one? No, because I was throwing out a bunch before the show, but I didn't know which one I wanted to do.
Just close your eyes and put your finger on the
Close
first
your
one you
eyes.
touch.
All right, fine.
It's fair
I'll
not
do
be
the
one
Jar
of
Jar
ours
one. Okay.
Oh, no, not the Jar Jar. Oh,
Okay.
God.
Not the Jar Jar one?
Yes.
No, might as well.
Charlie wants the Jar Jar one. I'm giving the Jar Jar
I
one.
do.
He's not
I
happy.
do.
Hey.
It's gonna happen.
So in the prequels, we didn't get much closure on what happened to Jar Jar. He's a beloved character or a hated character, depending on where you stand. So you're in charge of adding a scene in either Rogue One or the sequels or the originals even. What happened to Jar Jar?
I can't go because there's a comic strip where it tells us what happens to him, and I don't want to say anything now.
You can't use the comic
Well,
strip. You got to
I-
make up your own.
It would go the same way. It's very dark.
Yeah, let's start off here and then just go back to the con.
Yeah. Immediately, we have people in the chat saying Darth Jar Jar. Don't get me started
Thank
on
you,
the Darth
Nick.
Jar
You
Jar
know
Jar.
the comic.
Yeah.
And it's very
Yeah.
plausible. It's very plausible.
Okay, if
Yeah,
it was
if
me
you were in charge of a scene, what would you put?
and I was in charge of the last scene, I would be Palpatine.
Oh,
And I would
God.
Oh, that's terrible,
You'd be
Chris.
Palpatine. Read Chris's comment.
I
Are
wasn't
you
going to
sure
say
you
that.
want
That's
to
a
be
little bit.
Palpatine right now? Are you sure you want to be Palpatine?
Are you sure this isn't how Snoke was made?
Oh.
Okay, so I'll be Palpatine, and I would order for every stormtrooper to line up and put Jar Jar in front of a firing squad and just blast him just till he's gone. Like there's nothing even left of him. He just
But you gotta think,
disintegrates.
though, Jar Jar also knows how Sidious became Sidious. Like this is how Jar Jar knows what happened. So I can see where Kyle's coming from here. He's like, Jar Jar put him in power, so Jar Jar knows what's happening. Jar Jar watched him do all this stuff. Yeah, I see your logic there.
Kill him. Get rid of him.
You're straying. You're straying.
Banish him.
Nick
All right.
says, scene, we see the clone tanks on Camino growing thousands of Jar Jars.
oh, that would be so bad.
Oh no! Oh no!
Me personally, because I love Jar Jar Binks, and I will argue that I love Jar Jar Binks, and nobody's allowed to take that away from me. I would take so in the end of Endgame when Thanos retires and goes and chills on his little farmhouse. I want Jar Jar to have a nice comfortable, peaceful retirement where he can he's to settle down and become a farmer. There we go. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your answer?
Coral farmer, of course.
Yeah. No.
So
He just grows a lot of weed and just gets high all the time. That's what he does.
in the comic, it's dark, so I think I'm gonna give him some light on this one. I think he becomes a street performer like he does in the comics. I think I liked that storyline. I like that he was kicked out of the Senate. Yeah. So I'll explain that after the fact. Okay. He becomes a street performer, but he becomes a famous street performer instead of a very dwindling, picked on to the point where he offs himself in the comic because he is so hated by everybody.
Oh.
I want to shed some light. He becomes a very popular, very loved street performer and travels through the galaxy, being well known.
Pretty harsh, man.
Yeah, it was very dark.
That's what I was about to say.
It was a very dark comic, and it really hurt my heart to see that because you got to think he took all that. Yeah, well, you got to think he took all that blame from the Senate. He's the one that put Palpatine in power immediately. He's the one that literally led everything to where it was, and then he now is thinking, if I wouldn't have put Palpatine in power, none of this would have happened. None of my Jedi friends would be gone. Padme wouldn't be gone. I would still be in the Senate. Like, it gets really dark, and it really hurt my feelings.
Every move that was being made in the prequels, when you're hearing about political agenda and someone doing this and someone doing that, and they're dealing with this blockade and that blockade, that is the senator doing all of that from the start. So his whole story has been about manipulation. And those that are closest to the core of who he wants to bring down. And if Anakin, he's got his friend and he's got big floppy ears and things like that, then so be it. Let's go that route. But any person that he can manipulate, that's the part that's most important about Palpatine and Senator, is that even then, it's like looking at real life right now. It's like this stuff looks familiar, right? but that's the deal. That's the deal with it all. It's very unfortunate that someone like Jar Jar's character, that is loved and hated, is the one that bears the brunt. It's tragic. It's almost like Darth Vader's story. It's tragic.
Ain't comics made for children though, and they're putting suicide in comics? What's wrong with this picture?
That comic series was not. That comic series was not meant for children. It literally has a PG-13 rating on the front.
You'd have a rated R rating if it got.
It doesn't show him
suicide
doing
in it.
It just says off in the corner. Like, I read this whole comic strip because I found it, and I was like, man, that's really messed up. Like, I know he wasn't the most loved character, but why would you write that into, like, Ahmad Best has probably heard this about this comic some point, and that's probably got to bum him out, because that's not a way to, like, get rid of a character. I think a heroic ending is better than a sad ending like that. Like, the demise of Jar Jar was very sad, and I think if I give him that famous street performer, he goes out and performs throughout the galaxy and just dies happy, just dies like he deserves. Like he deserves. He doesn't deserve to have that comic strip, and that comic strip was very dark.
Yeah, it sounds like it was
That's
really
super
dark.
dark. Just that comic strip, I might like Jar Jar now. Like, he doesn't deserve that.
This me said 13 reasons.
In our time, isn't it? Of how, like, when that story was written and when that comic came out, and based upon a certain type of feeling for a certain type of character. You know what I mean? And we've moved on from there now. But it's kind of like a footnote in history, in Star Wars history, as that love and hate.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. I can't keep talking about it. It's just, it bums me out because I don't like Jar Jar as a character, because I do it purposely because my girlfriend really likes Jar Jar. I think he's funny. He's my mom's favorite. He's mine, or not mine, but my girlfriend's favorite. I purposely do it to mess with them and to mess with Charlie.
Oh no.
I think if he would have had more storyline to him, I think he would have been good. Like the Clone Wars really expanded on who Jar Jar really was and like what his character was like, and I loved him in Clone Wars. But yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna stop.
I just love quoting him. I just love quoting him. He's so exciting. Like, Misa no have a boomba. It's just so good.
His panic moments are the best moments.
I love it. He's like, Jar Jar, you said a boomba. Misa no have a boomba. And just that quote right there, that exchange is like one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Brilliant. Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's like there are so many types of characters in these stories, and they all appeal to a certain level of appreciation of entertainment. You know, whether you want to stick to the core story or you want some light, childish, ridiculous stuff happening every now and again that only happens in this universe. So therefore, it's accepted. You know, it's just part of what's happening. You know, I know for me, I think listening to you guys, I think, yeah, he felt bad. He felt bad about being a part of all that and witnessing everything. So I think what he did was he buried as many Jedi as he could. Like, I'm going there. He buried as many Jedi as he could, and he even donned one of the robes to go in search of finding more Jedi to help rebuild the Jedi Council. How about that?
That's awesome. See, that's awesome. I was gonna go that way. I wanted him to be a
Hey, that was way better than my answer. My answer kind of sucked now. Now I think about it, like, dude, that's garbage. I still think they should have shot him, but he should have done some good things before they shot him.
Hey, alternate universe, right?
Yep.
How are we ever supposed to follow that with any of the rest of the show? You win. We're done. Goodbye.
Yo, let's have a spin-off of a movie just about Jar Jar. We should do that.
I'd be here for it.
Oh no, I would never watch that. That would be the most hated thing in the world. Jar Jar for 2 hours. I can deal with him a little bit, but for 2 hours, nah.
I would watch it.
He's mature
have
now.
more than that movie.
Going back to like when he was just discovered by Obi-Wan. You know what I mean? And who was the other Jedi? It was Obi-Wan and
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon, yes. If we go back a little bit old, it's like he's more mature now, so he's a bit older, a bit wise, he's a bit careful about his decisions he makes. Might speak a little bit different, but we can tolerate Yoda. So, you know, I'm more ambitious.
Did you just compare Yoda and Jar Jar Binks together? What? Oh, come on, D. Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I thought that was the point. I thought that was why he was originally written.
You know.
They had to do the exact opposite to make it fit together. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yes, the light and the dark, always the counterbalance.
Okay, so
Hayden said,
go ahead.
Oh, it's just Hayden said Jar Jar becomes a bounty hunter. Misa bring you in cold, or Misa bring you in alive?
He'd be the clumsiest bounty hunter. He goes to like put him in carbonite and like carbonite's half his arm.
Misa clumsy.
As the clumsiest bounty hunter out there, he always gets the job done.
That's true.
That's how he gets it done. He accidentally gets every job done completely.
Yes, that would be epic. That would be brilliant.
Hey, that's a good show idea. That really is.
Would you watch that?
Yep.
Yes.
Dave, John, we got your next trilogy ready, or your next series.
So Kyle, you know how you like wrote letters to George? Now you need to do the same for Dave and John. Just weekly Jar Jar series, Jar Jar
I
series,
ain't
Jar
got time
Jar
to write
series.
letters like that.
You'd probably be the only one writing those letters.
Oh, okay. So let's move on to some questions here, because I know there's some stuff that I want to know, D, about working in the industry, especially dealing with the characters themselves, and I know everybody else does. So let's get to it. Charlie, you go first, because I know you got quite a few.
Oh my goodness. Again, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here and to be able to ask you these questions. We really, really appreciate you taking the time. I guess this is a bit of an abstract question, but if you could go back in time and meet yourself as a kid, what would you say to them about your career now and how it, and like what you've achieved and what you've experienced?
God, you got to hit him with such a hard question right off the bat.
the same thing I've always been telling myself in my head, that just persevere, just stick it out. It gets better. Just persevere, just hang in there, man. If it can happen to that person, if it can happen like this, if it happened like that, nothing's impossible. Just hang in there. Just that's it. That's the only thing that pulls me up. Just
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Strength is, and obviously strength is something that's reflected throughout Star Wars and all of its stories, and just hope and strength always.
Yeah, that's all we had.
I was asked this. I had a wonderful chat with Clone Army Radio yesterday. We ended up talking for about 3 hours, and one of the questions they asked me, I'm recycling for this. If you could take one thing from Skywalker Ranch, what would you take?
Ooh. See, I've been to Lucasfilm. I've been to the studios, yeah, but I didn't get to go to the ranch. And they were getting ready to have some kind of auction, and it made more sense for me to head back to LA than tease myself with things that just literally.
You were sneaking in the middle of the night, doing a bit of a just a cheeky little robbery, just a swipe and leave.
yeah. He looked like a Jedi. He just had this thing over his head. I don't know. I haven't been there, right? But I'll tell you what I would take from Lucasfilm. I shouldn't say this in case it goes missing.
They know who to contact immediately. There's no hesitation. They call, yo, where's it at? Where's it at? You said it on radio. Where's it at?
Instagram, this is what I got. It would be the batteries not included droids, the spaceship alien type things from that movie.
Aww.
I absolutely adore that movie, and it's not like it's on the top of my list, but whenever I hear about it or see anything related to it, it always gets me right here. And when I was there, I just was able to take some pictures, and right next to the little models that they were using and things like that. So yeah.
That is so lovely. I'm going to ask the cheesy classic ones. What does Star Wars mean to you?
Oh wow. It embodies everything about dream and fantasy as a child that gets filled normally with fairy tales and bedtime stories, and then you see certain elements of these things play out on TV and in film, from Clash of the Titans and Jason and the Argonauts. And whether you knew those movies existed or not, or stories, you could still follow the morals that they were teaching. And then while you're accepting that, you're also accepting Ray Harryhausen's stop motion animation. And you're like, whoa, that's not real, but adults are doing it. And yeah, stab that skeleton. Yeah, it was just, all of that was just brilliant, but not understanding its deeper roots. But then, Star Wars comes along a lot later for me, because I caught it on VHS. And that's when there were things that just ebbed and flowed just perfectly in terms of telling this story, not realizing that you've seen that similar story trait throughout history, and we still see it today, from any type of movie, having your hero and your protagonist. And so there was that kind of appreciation for it, but it wasn't until I started studying the documentaries on George Lucas, and behind the scenes. Like, I grew up, everyone knows stories about me loving behind the scenes and watching Sesame Street and all that type of stuff. But, it's, it kind of just, oh, wow. Where was I going? I mean, everything kind of made sense to me in that sense of seeing that in that world and understanding what George went through, not being able to explain what he was going for because it hadn't been done before.
Yes.
Yeah. And everybody, 95%, other than his close friends or whatever, were like saying, don't do it. No. He got blacklisted. Movies should never have even hit the cinema screens based upon how much people within the industry didn't want to back it. So from that perspective, understanding that, then he studied Joseph Campbell's work in The Hero's Journey,
Yes.
And following all the metaphors from deep religion so that it can be turned into a metaphor within the same story circles. The protagonist's journey, whether he's a reluctant hero or a hero that's going to need a fellowship, a crew, a posse, and some old wise hippie dude that's smoking way too much spice, it's all of those things, right? And having that as a staple to say, well, look, this is the pinnacle of fairy tale telling, I appreciate Harry Potter a great deal. I really do. I love Harry Potter, but we're talking Star Wars here, right? But the thing is, it's just and JK's using the same thing. You had your same hero. You needed the same posse. You needed the same dude smoking spice. To help him out. It's that and talking in riddles. It's that whole thing. It meant a great deal to me. And to suddenly be considered someone to have something to contribute through a certain skill set, rather than not knowing anything about me, just knowing that I had the skill set to do it. That's my career, man. That's just it's it's something. Is it a dream come true? The word is beyond. It's just constant beyond. We lost CJ.
We did. He'll be back.
He has a small child in the house, and he has to go check on her every little bit. I guess my two biggest questions that I had. Well, actually, Garrison, you go first. You got any questions?
For my questions? Sure. I guess kind of the basic one. How did you decide this is what you were gonna do? How did you not think, wow, I just being an actor, it's kind of a big deal, right? And being in Star Wars, something that's people imagine about, but they talk to themselves, yeah, that's not realistic. It's not going to happen. So how did you, I guess, reconcile that? How did you reconcile these huge goals with, no, I can do it. I'm going to keep working at it.
You see, you're asking questions that keep giving me goosebumps. I'm one of these people that if I'm going someplace, it really does come from somewhere. And it's that thing as a kid. At age 10, I think I realized I wanted to be an actor because I could remember dialogue. And bought the house down when we did Aladdin, and I played this camp genie. And I was just pretending to be camp because I'd seen it being done on this TV show called Are You Being Served? Really old.
Oh, classic, yes.
And so I was just doing an impression of him, and lo and behold, it was just whatever it was. But that's where I caught that bug. After that, it was kind of like, how do you go to drama school when you can't afford to go to drama school? How do you do that? What do you do? Well, you do all the drama classes at high school, college, and after college, I didn't go to university. After college, I got so tired, I just wanted to get out there and do it. And so I started to try and get auditions. And to get auditions, you needed an equity card, which is kind of like your SAG card or something, actors card that you have over there, kind of like equity. Well, that comes in. But equity said that you can only audition for theatre or TV or anything like that if you have contracts. And to get contracts, you could only get contracts if you had an equity card. Right? So I'm like,
Actors Guild stuff. Yep, I know all about that crap.
I was like, I put a light bulb up yesterday. My mum said I should be an electrician. Maybe I should consider that, right? So I didn't know what to do. And then I contacted them directly, and I said, well, how do you get a contract? And they said, well, dancers get it, models get it, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dancers? Okay, I can do that. Right? And so, like, I don't know how, but I ended up dancing for Gwen Guthrie, who sang "Ain't Nothing Going On But the Rent," you know, and a really old singer R&B. Ain't nothing going on but the rent, right? Sang that, right? So she was already old school when I was dancing for her, but she was LA big time singer. And I just kind of stuck with it, and I was trying to collect these contracts so I get the equity card. And then, I ran into one or two people that was putting the band together, some friends of mine, and I ended up doing some music for a little bit. And then after the music, then I decided to get myself an agent, you know, and because I'd done all that TV work before, and I've been in a band, and we've done TV shows, done concerts and things like that. I ended up doing a panto, and pantos are like Christmas shows where, you know, it's children, it's family entertainment, it's ridiculous. You have Aladdin played by a girl, and her mother played by the funniest guy in the house. He'd have rosy cheeks, and it's all pies throwing and all that type of stuff. And in the middle of that, it's like a tiny little story. You know, it could be Aladdin, it could be Syndulla, it could be anything. And I played the genie of the lamp for them, did Tommy the cat, and which was creature work, but I didn't know it was creature work. And so, from there, look, I'm giving you these stages as if it just kind of happened like that. I had no idea these things were going to work. You know, I thought when I did music, maybe I could, on the back end, you know, I could do some movies, I could do something, you know, like I really want to, like, I've trained for this, let me do it. And the first thing that happened when I got an agent was I ended up doing a couple of Shakespeare plays in the West End. One was for the Scottish play. I'm not sure if it's bad luck or whatever you say.
I consider it bad luck, so thank you.
Oh, wow. Oh, see? Woo! So there's that one. And Denzel's in that currently. And Romeo and Juliet, where I played Paris. And I'd only seen, I know, right? I'd only seen Baz Luhrmann's version of it. And when I'd seen that, that's when I realized I understood the dialogue and I understood the poetry of the dialogue. And yeah, I did that. Next thing you know, because I'd been a cat in this panto, someone suggested to see Neil. Neil wanted to see me, and Neil Scanlon at Pinewood Studios, a studio that I never thought I'd get to see, or always hoped I'd get to visit at some point in a working capacity, of course, and as an actor, not janitor. And so just have to clarify, right? So it's just, it just happened and it just went that way. And the fact that I went through all of that training, from whether it was movement, physical movement, dancing, all of these things tied into my physical training at college. And movement always had to come from somewhere, whether it was in dance, whether you were on the stage performing. An emotion has to come from somewhere. A gesture has to come from somewhere. All of these things come from the scene that you're in and the emotional state your character is in. And being in a costume and loving Sesame Street and loving Jim Henson's work or whatever, you put me in that stuff, I feel like I know what to do. And luckily, that sat well with a bunch of other CFX performers who are going through that same process of, yeah, I got this, you know? And that's where I am. So being a creature performer, more so than a regular actor, I'm not complaining about that one little bit, but I give all my praise and thanks to Neil Scanlon. He handpicks these things for me, and he knows I can do something before I know that I can do it, and I just go with it. And yeah, it's just praise.
Wow. It's almost like you've kind of unconsciously trained your whole life for specifically creature acting. Everything you've done up to this point set you up for success.
Stop talking. Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to what what I feel that tie-in is. You know, I'll tell you. As a kid, I always had these film posters on my wall. This is all I can say. This is the only thing that I can give validation to. Right? I had posters of Michael Keaton's Batman on my wall because I really wanted to be in that. And a friend of mine's dad was a unit driver, and I kept thinking, oh, maybe he can get me as a runner or something, not knowing a unit driver doesn't really have that much pull, right? And 10 years later, I'm a Gotham City police officer in Batman Begins.
Yes.
You know, I have posters of Madonna. I had posters of Madonna because I worked at her concerts, and her concerts were like the biggest shows ever, bigger than Michael, than Janet, all those just spectacular shows. And I ended up meeting her a good few years after at Top of the Pops, right? Just, you know, just as you do, right?
Exactly.
And I had posters of Jodeci on my wall, and they remixed one of our tunes, Happy, for the band I was in, Emanate. And then OG from Montel Jordan remixed it. But then anyway, then what else happened? You know, on my wall, I had posters of Prince on my wall, and I met the new Power Generation. And, you know, and they're saying to me, "Oh yeah, we're coming back next year. Come and hang out with us or whatever." I'm thinking, okay, right, what? Okay, who knows where this could go, right? Because I can dance, right? And you know, I look like you guys. So and then Prince came back the following year. He came back to do the stadium, but he came back without the MPG. He came back with a new setup. So I missed out on that. But that was the same year that I auditioned for MC Hammer because I was working at Wembley Arena, and the people downstairs said, "Oh man, you would fit in," and stuff like that. I said, "Yeah. What do I need to do? Come to Oakland. And so I went to Oakland. Yeah. You know, auditioned. You know, they said, okay, you know, we'll see what we do, and we're bringing Too Legit to Quit World Tour coming sometime soon or whatever. And then that was the tour. He lost money and it went bankrupt. But I will say this, yeah, I haven't said this anywhere else. So I know I haven't even gone there anywhere else, right? But when I went to see him, I auditioned wearing a gray baseball jacket with black leather sleeves, and it had a Heineken hockey print on the back because I was working at the hockey at Wembley Arena, right? Too Legit video comes out. They're all wearing these jackets. And I'm like, okay, you can have that. But I swear, no one who would think to wear these jackets unless you see them, right? So it's gray, dark gray, black leather. Watch that video, right? Say, that's deep, right? But, and then finally, you know, I had I was inspired a lot by Janet Jackson and Rhythm Nation. You know, there was a lot of military movement going on in there, whatever, and you know, always practicing in front of the dance mirror at college with the rest of them, saying, you know, it's all this stuff, man, and then you just turn it, right? And so, you know, and then you know, end up meeting Janet and touring with Janet. So one of those things you can say is a coincidence, or I could say is a coincidence, but for every single poster I've had on my wall, I've had an association with. And the only poster that's never come off my wall is the original Star Wars poster. So you know, and my career's gone here, and I thought I was just going to be a regular actor, but am I missing that? No, maybe I needed to think of that to get me to there. I have no idea. But I love doing what I do right now.
That is manifesting at its finest. Oh my goodness.
Like I tell people all the time, like it's just people. I've had many people ask me, you know, how did you get into the industry? I don't know. It was an accident. I was drunk. I got took to somebody's house. Next thing you know, I was getting casted in as a voice actor. I don't know how it happened. I just somebody liked my voice and said, "Here, come do this," and I did it. Other than that, I don't have like, but I can say one thing. One of the biggest things is when I got my agent. That's what made the biggest difference. I tell everybody, get an agent. Like if you think you can do it, get an agent. You know, start getting, because you can't get the promotion that they know how to do. That's what they do. They'll send you in the right direction.
And it starts with you. You know, you have that thought and you have to put it into action. As long as you're taking that one step every single day, or as much as you can, whether it's a thought, a deed, an action, whatever it is, getting an agent. Okay, need some headshots. Okay, I need to do whatever. You just keep going. You stay in that. Good, there you go. Yeah, you stay in that creative bubble, and it's your own bubble. Yeah, no one can tell you anything about what you want to do with this bubble and where your imagination where you want your imagination to take you, you know, because where you're going, you know, that might just be the tip of the iceberg, but you just got to do your best to get there. And you know, you're your own best supporter. You know, so why would you put doubt or fear in your mind? Say, no, it's going to happen. Don't know when it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Has to happen.
That was one of the craziest things when they told me I had to get headshots. I said, for what? I'm just doing voices. Why I got to do a headshot? Well, we got to go with this. Like, what do I need this for? Oh, you got to do a reel. For what? I've already been on a TV show. I got to be on a thing. Why do I got to do this now? Because they ain't just going to ask you for all these different things that they want you to do before they'll start representing you. And I'm just sitting there like, why do I got to do any of this stuff? I already been in the show. You know what I'm saying? I was in that thing right there. Why I got to do that? Why I need a headshot for?
Yeah, but it's this thing. It's this thing. If you want to do something, you would have studied up on it. You know, you don't want to be a surgeon. Well, you know, I need to know how to use this scalpel. Okay, that's what's required. You know, it's all of these things to be part of that kind of machine. What do I need to do to be a part of that machine? How can I aid myself in getting them and give myself as much promotion as I can while reaching out here, there, and everywhere? You know, this is the whole thing about this social media platform. You know, look at where you guys started, man. You know, it's just like, and it starts here. You know, before it gets to even sitting behind a mic and doing anything, you know, you got to take those steps, and you take them, you know, and just the fraction of that thought, of that joy and that hope and that, oh, that was fun, or that would be fun, you know, will land you here, CJ, or land you here, Garrison. You know, it just puts you slap bang in something, and you're just like, okay, I can ride with this. Okay, yeah, all right, cool.
My biggest motivation after like starting this was my grandfather always said this when we were growing up. You shouldn't care, just work harder. Just stay motivated. Don't listen to what everybody else says. Don't listen to that self-doubt in the back of your head. Just work harder. If you feel like you're slacking or lacking in something, talk to somebody, talk to your manager, talk to your crew member. Get the advice that you need if they know what they're talking about, and just work harder. That's where you're going to get, you know, the opportunities that you get. That's where you're going to get the promotions that you're going to get and all these things. And like Kyle and I we kind of had this issue, and we were kind of lacking some spots. And that's what I did. I had Kyle call me. We talked for 2 hours, and we figured out, hey, this is what is needed. This is what needs to be done. Can you do it? I need you to do it. If you can do it. If not, we can find somebody else to do it. I just need to know that you can do this. And in the back of my head, my immediate thought was, I got it. Okay. I just needed to know what was needed to be done so I can perform at my optimum level that I know I can perform at. And
exactly.
One of my greatest words of wisdom actually came from Roadhouse. And the movie Roadhouse is where
Patrick Swayze.
With Patrick Swayze. What's the old guy that acts in there? What's his name? I can't think of his name. Yeah, Sam Elliott. When he says, I will get all the sleep I need when I'm dead. And that just clicked with me when I was like a child. So everybody's like, how do you get all the stuff done that you get done? I don't sleep. I just keep working. Like, I'll get the sleep I need when I die.
Kyle, stop telling me that I only need 2 hours of sleep a night, all right? It's not going to happen.
Hey, 2-3 hours, that's all you need. You got to keep pushing. Hey, and I guarantee D will tell you there's going to be days like if you ever got into the industry, there's days it's like, dude, are we ever going to get done, man? We've been here for 17 hours. What are we... I can only say the line this many times. I don't know what y'all want me to do. It just doesn't work. I don't know.
I suffer from insomnia, but I don't have a problem with insomnia. You know, the only issue is everybody else has gone to bed. So, okay, well, I can play Destiny. I know Destiny. I can play that. Right? So, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like it is. You dig deep when you need to. You know, am I worried about sleep if I'm working a studio day? No. You know, but the thing is also because my adrenaline is so high when I work. When I get back, you know, it's eat, shower, bed, you know, and it's just like the fact that I'm gonna only be having maybe 4 hours sleep or whatever isn't an issue, but I've gone to bed at a reasonable time. You know?
I had one more question to ask you, Dee, if that's
Yeah,
all right. Obviously, like, again, if our viewers aren't necessarily aware, Dee has done multiple appearances in Star Wars films as various creatures and oogie boogies in the background. He's been Kratanus in The Force Awakens. Is that the one with all the teeth?
Big grin.
I can't stop laughing. Every picture I see of that character makes me absolutely crease. Why does he look like that?
You know what? There are different types of heads that are made, you know, and for a head like that, the moment that it was supposed to be used for was for that specific thing. So it was fixed. It didn't change. But what we realized on the set was that if I tilted my head slightly, it changed the expression. You couldn't quite tell. And so what I could do was I could set the whole process up by chuckling like that, you know, while Tom who plays Prashi is setting up the gag, you know, and then I would launch into, because the mouth's already open, I could go here and I can do all of that stuff, you know. But yes, it was very infectious on the set. You know, and we kept going. We kept it going in between the takes because I needed to know my range. I needed to work out how I was going to feed off Tom to release that. We were playing the little game, everybody kind of came by and had a look and a laugh, and JJ bought that head.
CJ, you got anything?
That wasn't actually my question. I'm so sorry. I got completely distracted. Dee's played multiple roles in Star Wars. You do a lot of practical and like physical effects. How do you feel about things like the volume? Like these kind of advancements in CGI and deepfake, does that hinder your future career? Does that improve what you're able to do with the spaces? Does it make it easier for you, harder?
It depends how those who have it want to use it. You know, I mean, it's been around since the prequels to a certain level. So, you know, if you think of it as an actor, you say, those are a lot of stormtroopers out there. Clone troopers, sorry. There are a lot of clone troopers. That's a lot of work that they didn't have to pay for.
That's true.
You know, and that's the only costume I got, right? So, you know, it's one of those things. But it all depends on how it wants to be, how they want to use it, you know. But nothing beats working off of someone who is actually there. Yes. You know, it's tough when they're not, but you get stand-ins, you get things, and you get the previs to look at, and you get all these types of aids just to print it in there so that you know what you're doing. But more importantly for any actor, it's like when I did the Scottish play, the stage was just black, and it had a little rostra block in the center around and another one at the back, and it had all this sprayed cobwebs and making it all look like gothic and surreal, and all this smoke in there and stuff. And that's fine, you know. That was the set for the whole entire piece. So when you went to one scene where it's all there, this is where you place them. You work with green screen, blue screen. You know, and you're having to imagine this fantasy world and things like that. You know, it's a strain, you know, especially if you haven't got window frames or everything else painted in green. So you got some reference to gauge. It can be difficult. Now you've got the volume, you know, makes it less difficult, you know, as a space to work in. I imagine, I haven't been that close to one. Right. The closest I got was probably on Solo on Dryden Voss's barge.
Oh, wow. They were using it back then. Goodness me.
A version of it, which was, I think it was just a projection. It was either a projection or, it had to be a projection around the screen, but it was just a live projection of the mountains and birds and all that type of stuff going. But you see the journey of where they're going. Because if they're doing that, the volume must already be in development. Yeah,
that's genius.
So you see all of their traits along the way. It just starts here, you know, which is why every movie, everything they do, you know, you watch it for something, and there's something in there that hasn't been done before, you know, or hasn't been done that way before. But yeah, I would think it'd be easier. Yeah, of course it would be easier. Of course it would be easier. You're right there. We're right in there in the desert.
That's amazing. That's me done. I promise. I'm all finished.
I've
Thank
just
you.
got one question. Out of all the Star Wars films you've been a part of, what was your favorite character to be able to play? Like when you're on set, like out of all of them you've done, what's the top one that if they brought that character back and they bring you back for it, would you do it again?
See, look, you asked me what my favorite Star Wars movie would be. It's always the first one because of what went into making it. You wouldn't have anything without it, right? I enjoy other movies, but my heart's there. With my creatures, I would say Kratanus. It was just a joy. It was just a joy to embody, and he's just a little seemingly nothing character, Kratanus and Prashi. They're not there when they were looking up at these planets blowing up and all this type of stuff, So maybe they got out of Maz's castle, I'm just saying, but that's special. But then Quay Tolsite has been a very surprising little landmine, where to get the role itself, well, to be given the role itself by Neil, not knowing that I already knew about the Pikes, is one thing. To be in that movie and to run the spice mines of Kessel, the famous spice mines of Kessel, and be a part of the Kessel run itself, and to have my butt handed to me by the Mother of Dragons, there is so much there, right? But then after that period, with the fluctuating, I don't know, love and hate for the saga movies, you're never quite sure what's going to remain canon, what's going to be faded away and then changed later, and things like that. And what the Book of Boba did in episode 2 was immense for me as a performer and someone who actually loves Star Wars to bits, to see the character species that I play validated, and then some,
massively.
And you see this hierarchy, but to never know where a character like that stands in, and it's not even so much whether the sagas are liked or not, it's whether people appreciated Solo or not, enough to appreciate these characters. That was a big gray area for me, so it was kind of okay. But then when Book of Boba dropped it, it was just my heart on the floor. It was just like, whoa. Because also I'm thinking about the dresses, I'm thinking about the designers, I'm thinking about all these people, I'm thinking about the days of people putting me in that suit. The directors that directed me in that suit. It's it's a special place where Quay sits. It's very spicy, I'd say.
I didn't mean to ask such a difficult question. I just
no, but a simple question for me. I gotta tell you that whole story, man. You gotta get it.
No, I loved it. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that you got that validation when the Pikes returned in Book of Boba Fett. I'm glad you were able to look at that and be like, see, my character didn't just go to waste. They're right there. That you can see their face, you can see the costuming, you can see the beauty behind it all. And there's so many of them in the scene, and it's just like I got to be that character itself. I got to dress just like that, and it's probably for you. It's probably the most heartwarming thing to be able to look at it and be like, yes, thank you, yes. Somebody else can feel the way I felt in that costume, the power.
You see some of the faces that have appeared in The Last Jedi dotted about. You see some of the faces that appeared in Force Awakens dotted about, that I recognize and I spot or whatever. And it's nice to know that those species have gone on, and possibly even the same characters are perceived to be those same creatures. so yeah, it's it's hard for me to explain, but Star Wars is one of those things that keeps giving. There's a certain magic about Star Wars that I kind of feel and I kind of experience every single time that something happens, and it happens quite regularly. So in many tiny little ways, but it's very appreciative.
If I'm not much mistaken, you playing Quay was the first live action Pike in any of the films. Like, that's huge.
Yeah. So it was huge for me the first time round. But then when that gap happened and you're not quite sure, and then this big explosion happens, on this big show. It's just like, okay, wow. Okay.
And my question is kind of like on the same basis, because somebody that's been in the industry, done some stuff. How hard was it to be inside those suits? And then did you have to do ADR after the fact? When you were speaking lines, do they make you do them in the suit, or did they make you do them outside of the suit? Are you ADRing it afterwards? And which was the hardest suit to, be in? Like, because I got to be uncomfortable to be in them suits. I watched some of the shows. I watched on some of the sets of people getting dressed up, and I'm like, holy crap, man! You've been sitting there in that seat for 8 hours. Like, dude, I'd go nuts. I can't sit still that long.
Listen, look, briefly, competition won a day to spend as a stormtrooper on Rogue One. Within an hour or so, he was complaining to Neil and didn't want to do it no more because the stormtrooper suit was uncomfortable. Yeah, it's not for everybody. You've got to have a certain temperament for it. You can get claustrophobic being one of these things if you're unprepared. And then either you can carry on with it or you can walk away from it. Two people that I knew who experienced that claustrophobia. A friend of mine, Stephen, who played the card dealer in the Sabat game, and he had that brim thing. His first experience was claustrophobia. After that, dude, we're all in the same game. Oh, right, okay, cool. And then he's fine. And he just works it. But it's and a stunt girl. What's her name? Lucas. Sorry, I've forgotten your name, Lucas. Choose Lucas. And we became very good friends while we were filming in the desert on Savareen, because she had problems with her. She played the species, Greedo species.
The Rodian.
That's it. She played that orangey, yellowy faced Rodian. That same head popped up in Mandalorian and
yes, it did.
Yeah. She had a moment, she had a minute, and then she was over it. But the most difficult one for me, oh man, it's hard because you could put me in something that's really difficult, but if it's for Star Wars, I don't care.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer right there.
Is there a lot of people that are like that come on set and do the creatures, like the people that get in those costumes? Is there a lot of people that are like that, like you, that are like, dude, I don't care, I'm in Star Wars, this is awesome. I made it.
This are a few, but it's a certain temperament you got to do the job, and to know you're a part of this thing, and there is this love for Star Wars amongst us. We do get it, and it's just like, okay, I can't see out of this thing. I can just about hear you in the radio. I've got a little bit of air, so maybe I've got 5 minutes in this suit, right? point me in the direction, okay, and say go, right? It's not that crazy, but you take these things on. And for ADR, I did ask to do an ADR for Slow and Low, all right, and I was told yes, right, in the UK. But what was fascinating about that is that I was kind of like already a fan of Ryan because I'd just seen Brick like the 2 weeks before I was due to see him on set. And then he always goes to LA, and I'm thinking, man, they're going to get some big name to do it. They've got to get some big name. And then next thing you know, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah, his birthday today or yesterday. Happy birthday, dude. Right. So, and then I'm thinking, yeah, because of the Brick connection, oh wow, so Ryan and Joseph and Dee, right?
Aw.
So that's kind of how I saw that, and it was amazing, and it was beautiful to see people just get it wrong in their posts and things like that. I'm like, yeah, that's my job, man. That's my job. I'm invisible. So, but it was great. It should have been. No, I think. I'll tell you what. Quay Tolsight's costume was heavy. Only because I had to hold myself up. Yeah, if it was just like that and I was wearing it, it'd be fine. Had those keys. I wanted to make sure that they didn't tell me how to hold the keys. I wanted to hold the keys that way because I could get the elbows up and I can hold them like a pike. Right? That's as close as I could get to that. I knew I'd heard from Jake Lunt Davis, who designed that character, that reason why he looks that way is because of the atmosphere on the planet, and he's almost like a Darth Vader thing, and breathing and all that type of stuff. It's like, fine, okay. That I had such aches on my shoulders after doing that I went and got some massage for it, and it was like, yeah. It's all ass. Yeah, but it was brilliant. And yeah, but I did some ADR for Quay outside of the suit, which was arranged by Andrew Jack and Oren Beaton, the late Andrew Jack, bless him. And the language or the way that I spoke was deliberately guttural and just vulgar, because everything about him is just, yeah, it's a gesture, but you're hearing this vulgar sound coming out of his mouth, whatever. And I don't know. I assume that they've worked that audio. I didn't hear of anybody else doing it. Mark Dodson did the laugh for Kratinus. Mark Dodson works on the Gremlins. So I'm like, a Gremlin laugh did my voice, right? So that's brilliant. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and then Slow and Nose named after Beastie Boys. Man, it just keeps giving. It's like Christmas.
All right, guys. I think we need to go into the what if. Y'all ready for the what if? You ready, D? Because I got a question for y'all that's going to blow y'all's minds.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. This is going to be fun.
It only takes one decision to decide the direction of the galaxy. A decision that will influence the outcome. But if that decision went the other way, reality as we know it would change forever. The galaxy would be on a different course. Things that have happened would cease to exist. A new narrative would be etched into creation. So we are going to analyze those other possibilities when we ask, what if?
Okay, and this is kind of out of the realm of not Star Wars, but out of the realm of what a regular what if question would be. Because I want to know, if you guys had an opportunity to create your own character, how would he change the plot? Who would this character be? And how would he change the plot of Star Wars?
Ooh. Okay.
Plot.
But if I gotta think.
Charlie's like ready to rock.
Go,
Charlie
Charlie.
seems like she's ready.
I was so ready. So, I've been into Star Wars since I was a very small child, and obviously it fed my imagination like nothing else has. Like I love Lord of the Rings, I love everything, but Star Wars was the thing that fed my brain the most. And I was also really into dragons at the time. So that's partly where this comes from. You think crate dragons are big. I want to see like a colossal space dragon that like eats planets, snacks on star destroyers. I want it to be this giant like force sentient creature that's bleached white because of the darkness of space, and it's blind and has tiny eyes, but it's humongous and this massive mouth. And Luke Skywalker's like the only one who can control it because he's the greatest Jedi that ever lived. And Luke has to go on a full mission, and that's how they defeat the Empire, with a giant planet-eating dragon.
That's dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, that changes the plot a whole lot. What if the multiverse?
Luke, go get the dragon. Luke, go get the dragon.
Yeah, Luke will get Ray turns up and is like, "Here's your lightsaber. Can you go get that dragon?" Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Actually, D gave me my idea because when he brought up Sesame Street, I want to see a Darth Big Bird just running around the galaxy just cutting up first people. That would be so dope. Like a big yellow bird just with red eyes with a lightsaber just chopping people up. That would be so crazy.
Looking for Snuffy.
And he conquers Palpatine and just takes over the entire empire.
Man, this is hard to think about.
And I want to see the actor that D. You could play that part. If they ever come out with a Darth Big Bird, you could play that part. I'm gonna put in a request. I'm fan questing. D plays Darth Big Bird.
Oh, jeez. I honestly, as I'm sitting here looking at my desk, I think an IG unit that has lightsabers.
Ooh.
I think
You're
him
really gonna
assisting.
go there.
Well, and yeah, I'm staring at it because I bought this yesterday and I've been like avoiding buying it, but I bought IG-11 and I'm staring at it. I'm like, just imagine a force sensitive IG-11, like a Grievous brain. You know how Grievous has got his brain and his lungs and his heart and everything, but it's a little bit more than just that in the IG unit, to the point where it can make it slightly force sensitive, and it seeks out to kill Luke Skywalker because he thinks he took out Palpatine.
Ooh.
Kind of like the in the Last Shot book where it's the droid Gatra. It's kind of like something like that.
It's like Terminator in Star Wars.
Yep. We could just throw that right there. Yeah, it's Terminator. I mean, we saw the Purge of Mandalore. We saw that. So I mean, just like that, you know, a little force sensitive IG Sith unit looking for Luke because Sidious is gone.
What is it with you guys and Sith? Like the two of you specifically, CJ
I
and
love
Kyle,
this shit.
like, damn.
I was looking at it and I'm like, well, every time you see an IG unit, you think of a bounty hunter or something that's not afraid to do the job and get dirty and to kill. So you can't look at an IG unit except for the one in the Mandalorian, the IG-11 in the Mandalorian, and think of a cuddly droid. You just can't. You just can't think of a cuddly droid. He's not a 3PO unit.
No, that's fair.
It's certainly not cuddly.
No.
No, he doesn't look like much of a cuddler.
Too
He's got a lot
many
of
angles, too many bits.
I'm looking at him. He looks like he would like look at me with all three of his eyes and it'd creep me out. I wouldn't cuddle with him.
Which eye do you make contact with?
Right. What if he's like
using the Force to mesmerize it?
But what if he's like L3 and he's got that like mouthy sassiness to him, like, my eyes are up here. Which one? There's three. Damn you.
My eyes are up here. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at all 7 of your fingers, you little weirdo. Quit it.
What you got, D?
Oh no, I need to go. Yeah, you guys need. I need one more. I need one
Is this so? Are we playing these characters, or are these just?
Oh,
characters?
No, they're just characters.
Okay,
you
yeah.
can like if
because
you
I
was
don't
a
wanna play
character
this
designer and you was designing the character for Star Wars to play a certain part, and it would change the outcome of Star Wars. What would that character? Who would you design? What would it be? You know.
Okay. This wouldn't be like a significant story change, but I think people would love it. In Mandalorian, you get a girl Grogu, and dude, already, see. People would think it was so adorable. Like, just you would get by like 3 episodes on just the cuteness alone, and just like their interaction. You wouldn't even need a story. Like, you just have that little. You don't even need like just 3 episodes of just them like hanging out.
Take my money. Take it.
Exactly. All right? And then like the merchandise sales would go crazy. Like, dude, and it would be adorable. Let's be honest.
How did we go from Space Dragon to Girl Grogu?
I don't know, dude, but
What a pipeline.
I thought it was great. Just imagine them like holding hands. Oh.
They're force skipping.
Yeah, dude.
You got Luke giving them the force push, so they're hopping together, holding hands. Yeah, there you go, Charlie. I'm gonna make you cry. This is gonna be adorable. We're gonna make Star Wars amazing right now.
Not what y'all were expecting. That is, This is so unlike me to mention this too, but I don't know.
Been on this love kick ever since Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
apparently. Valentine's Day was really special, I guess.
Yeah, special.
Yeah, you're talking about having a female little Grogu. Yeah, that love chick. Are you having baby fever? Is that what's going on here? You want a little girl, Garrison?
No, I'm okay.
Now. Oh wow. Okay. I'm gonna tell you, this is a fun. This one could beat me. This one could beat me. Okay, so it could change the entire outcome of Star Wars. It's discovered that there is a new type of force out there. This force actually resides within a little tribe of little people. Yeah, how little? I don't know. Yeah, no one's ever really seen them, but they've heard about them, right? And what it is that wherever they go, they actually repel the Jedi. They repel the Sith. But what they do, I said do, right? But what they do is actually a lot more good than either the Jedi or the Sith consider to be good. So basically, they rule and move on their own terms.
Wow.
What would they look
That's
like?
what I got.
Just imagine what they look like.
They're just Ewoks. They're Ewoks running around the galaxy.
Make Jawas.
I was thinking like Oompa Loompas, but like in
Star
Star Wars.
Wars Oompa
I theorize that Jawas are, because we know that Ewoks are a subspecies of Wookiee somewhere down the evolutionary chain. I theorize that Jawas are then a subspecies of Ewok, and but nobody's figured that out yet. They're just these weird little desert creatures who run around, and they're a little bit furry, so maybe. But like, I think
Moto is the prime example for telling us that they are hairy. So
that woman is wild. If she met any of Dee's characters, sold. Smash. Sorry.
But that'd be such a cool like plot twist and like another plot to explore and kind of delve into.
D, let's combine the new force sensitive, minuscule little people are the only ones who can control the giant space dragon.
Ah.
Now we're getting.
That's why it's never seen. That's why it's never seen.
Yes.
That would make so much sense. Holy crap, there's a book in the making.
Disney, come through.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
okay, now you're blowing my mind.
It's like, what does that mean? What does that mean for the Jedi? The Jedi can't negotiate with them. The Jedi can't use the Force against them. The Sith can't impose any threats against them. And they do what they will. And
they were like porg size. So like normal people don't even notice that they're around. That would be
baby dragons.
Porgs though! I love porgs. That would be adorable.
CJ, we know you love porgs.
Oh, you're blowing my mind over here. I'm just like imagining a little furry, force-sensitive dragon riding little badass. You know how cool that would be? Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm set. This needs to happen.
Start writing, Dave and John. Just write them every day.
I just tweet them, hey, I got an idea. You got to DM me. Hey, I got an idea. You got to DM me.
If you do it for long enough, they'll get tired of it.
It'd be like, what do you want? Porg-sized force creatures that ride dragons.
Yeah.
What? What are you on? Nothing. This is just a great idea. Just hear me out.
Like everything we announce on this podcast, I guarantee you in 6 months a new Star Wars book will come out about a space dragon and tiny force sensitive people, and we'll all sit here and go, so
are we gonna try to say something about this, or are we gonna let this ride out?
What about you, Kyle?
I said mine.
Yeah,
I said I want a Darth Big Bird.
Oh, that's right.
I want Darth Big Bird.
Darth Big
What
Bird.
about Anakin's father? You could write that into a story. That would be. I mean, I hope they don't do it.
Plagueis.
Darth
We already
Vader
know
But
this.
that could be
His
a
father.
whole thing.
It was Plagueis. We all know this.
We don't know this. That's speculation.
What if there was like an actual father?
Yeah, it was Darth Big Bird.
You wouldn't want to tell anybody that's your daddy.
He force willed it into existence because he was of non-human species.
And Anakin's mom would be like, yeah, he doesn't have a father.
It's the family
But
secret.
I want some child support. I need some galactic credits because I'm broke.
Yeah, take him.
We gonna get kicked off of YouTube for some of our stuff.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Have we got some news and rumors to get to? Because I've got like a whole list this week, guys.
You got a whole list. The only thing I knew happened was one thing.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that was
Where is your journalism, Carl? Where is the?
I'm looking at it right now. The only thing that happened was we had a birthday.
We had
That's
a
it.
birthday.
Oh, dude, what?
Yeah, not us. We didn't have a birthday. Our birthday until like
Okay,
August.
okay.
I'm a summer baby. Like we're not there yet.
All right, let's segue over to news and rumors right quick.
The ultimate news and rumors.
Okay, before we get started, I have never used the word segue in my life until just now.
That
I
was
just
weird.
damn,
Proud
Charlie,
of
you got me saying
Good job.
segue. Ain't that like a machine that you ride around on, like a little cart?
Yes.
Paul Blart.
Oh yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's a segue. CJ, please, before you explode out of your chair.
So Hasbro dropped some more figures, and I am overly excited about this. The pre-order happened 2 days ago. They're dropped, so you can get one of the Mandalorian from, obviously the Mandalorian, who was part of Bo-Katan. I can't remember his name. It's right here. Axe Wolves. You can get his character in the minifigure. You can get Bo-Katan in the minifigure. And Bill Burr's character. I love Bill Burr. You can
Yes.
you can get
Does he have
Mayfield.
what was his name in the Mandalorian? I can't even remember his name.
Is Mayfield.
Huh?
Is
Mayfield?
Migs Mayfield. And you
I
can
just
get
called him
him
Bill
as
Burr the whole time. Look at Bill
Yeah.
Burr.
I was like, look at Bill Burr. Like when I showed Tori that episode, she's like, "Is that Bill Burr?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's Bill Burr. He's in Star Wars now. This is awesome." But yeah, you can get his character in the Sand Trooper armor that he rides in the armor truck. There's those three figures. They dropped a Easter Grogu, where he's wearing a little Easter colored. It's really very vibrant. It's
Grogu
very
and an
vibrant.
Easter bonnet. Let's go.
Yeah, it's very, very vibrant. It's a lot of colors. We all know that they dropped the comic book series Black Chrysanthemum figure, and
Don't.
it.
Don't.
I was looking at that. Him and Chewbacca look exactly the same. They just painted them different
it's a
colors.
Yeah, they opened his
It's a
mouth,
remake.
and they just opened his mouth. You can pre-order that now. That's a new pre-order that I'm never going to purchase, which really bums me out. They dropped Cad Bane finally. It's a Target exclusive. It's from the Bad Batch. It's not from the Book of Boba Fett. And they gave us a new Lego set. It is the Naboo N1 Starfighter from the Book of Boba Fett. And you get Grogu. You get Boba Fett before he gets his armor back, so he's in his tunic. You get Grogu, and then you get BD1. Oh, and Pelimoto. You get Pelimoto.
Oh,
Okay,
in
no,
Lego
I do
form.
need it.
In Lego form. It's really neat. And
Cool.
they dropped. Hold on, let me get to it.
Hey, D got a Lego, and he got an action figure.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dee, do you have any action figures of your characters? Nice.
Yeah. Not to hand because
That's okay.
Normally I do. Normally I just reach over here like this. But yes, there's a Quaitol sight figure. Very rare to get, so I'm thrilled about that. You know,
Wow.
So I'm gonna go on eBay and it's gonna be like almost $1,000. Cool.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
I do like that. And yes, the Lego, which was part of the Millennium Falcon solo Lego.
Oh wow.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then I'm a Lego in a Lego Star Wars game on PlayStation.
You're the game?
What?
Yes.
That's
I've seen
sick.
characters in there.
Amazing.
The new
Yeah, there's
Skywalker saga?
There's almost 800 characters, so I'm glad that you were a part of that 800. Because hold on, you know how difficult that had to be to sit there and pick 800 characters? Because there's more than 800 characters. We all know this.
Oh,
You know how hard it had to have been to be like, okay, we want that one and that one and that one. Not that one. That was not.
You know, Kratos appears in one of the paintings in The Mandalorian. When you see, I think it's the beginning of the second season or first season. I can't remember which one it is. But when you see Carl Weathers' name come up on the screen, maybe first season, and Mando standing in the doorway, and you'll see Kratos sitting over there, drawn by Doug Chang. So,
nice.
That's got to be cool. And then I have one more thing. So from now until I believe this next January, they are dropping more of those comic book icon figures like Black Chrysanthemum. September is the next drop. We don't know who it is, but there is 4 being dropped. The first series had Luke, had the Emperor, had Mara Jade, and I believe Old Ben as a Force Ghost. This is a set of 4. I think it's going to be all bounty hunters. Bounty hunters that we have only seen in comics and books, and nothing that we have seen in just by looking at it. It's off of the comic book series, so I believe it's just going to be bounty hunters, because the last set was Jedis and Force sensitives. I think they're going to 180 and try to get some non-Force sensitive characters in the Black series lineup. So that's all I've got. That's just me. That's the toy line for me.
Oh,
Only thing I got was one thing. Oh, I'll just say
no.
it right
After
quick.
you, you've just got one thing because I've got like a whole list.
Happy birthday, John Williams. He turned 90.
Happy birthday!
Yes,
90 years
Happy
old.
birthday.
What?
That's all the news I
Still
that
composing.
was all the news I had.
yeah.
Speaking of John Williams, I've got a bone to pick with you, Kyle and CJ.
Uh-oh.
We did that show on Monday, and I said, guys, John Williams been photographed inside the same Sony recording studio where he recorded A New Hope, and both of you went, nah, it's probably just for a video game. It was for Kenobi. I was right. I was right.
He's 90 years old. He could have been there doing his birthday song at 90.
He ain't gonna stop.
For
He
himself.
did all the Star Wars music. What are you talking about? Of course he did Kenobi. I figured it was already done though.
Oh, okay. So now you're covering your ass. You're beast, all of you. I was right. It was
You were right.
a bit
You were
announced
right.
by Variety.
I'll give you that.
You
You get this one. You get one.
Thank you. Thank you. I have some sad news. Star Wars comic book writer Tom Veitch has passed away. Veitch was best known for writing for Dark Horse Comics in the early 90s. He did Dark Empire 2, and Empire's End, which is sort of, in the comic book world, considered the parallel to the Thrawn trilogy. It's upheld incredibly by the comic fandom. It's very, very sad.
I start reading comics.
Suddenly.
I'm missing out on so much Star Wars
Yeah, you're
content.
missing out on the Jar Jar
Star Wars
thing.
comic run is incredible.
Which one?
All of the Dark Horse Star Wars comics, just all of them that were done under Dark Horse in the 90s.
Right.
Insane. Absolutely
Oh,
insane.
beautiful.
But yes, very, very sad that he's passed away, especially as it was from COVID. So my condolences to his family and his brothers especially. On a slightly cheesier note, there's a new Galactic Star Cruiser short that's been released on their YouTube
Yeah.
Oh
channel.
God.
Yeah.
Another
story-
review video?
Yes. the story of,
Hey, we gotta do a video on that.
We do. The story of the Star Cruiser is set between the events of The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. There's going to be quite a few familiar faces. Chewie's been spotted on board, and Rey and Kylo Ren will be meeting for the first time since the end of The Last Jedi, which is what I think all of this Daisy stuff is why I think she's been brought back potentially for this, because she did the Rise of the Resistance. She came back for that and did that on green screen.
So did John Boyega.
Oh wow.
And
So did
Oh,
John
Oscar
Boyega,
Isaac.
yeah.
Which was dope. Yeah.
It was. So yeah, it seems to be a I think they've made some improvements. The trailer does look better. I have watched it. It does look a little better than what we were first presented with.
Nope.
They're trying.
You can't sell me on this again. Like, you already messed up by dropping that and then getting rid of it, and we had to react to it.
Here's the thing, CJ. I wasn't interested until Rey and Kylo were brought up into the conversation. now
they're making a Star Wars Galactic's love boat. That's what they're doing. They're trying to set it up as a love hotel now because they're galactic.
The honeymoon suite.
Battle cruiser, whatever. The first one was just terrible. Like I wanted to go until I seen this thing, and now I don't want to go no more.
If anybody is interested in learning more about the history of the Halocon Star Cruiser, there is a 5-issue comic run being launched alongside the High Republic book Mission to Disaster by Dina Island, which will be released on March the 1st.
I love Star Wars.
Dude,
okay, so they're making a comic book.
They are really trying to turn this around.
They're really trying to fix this.
Yeah, after you dropped that cheesy promotion trailer of walking through it,
they're really not letting this go.
Really
no idea. I haven't seen this thing.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to see it. It was terrible. Like half of their reservations disappeared. Like half of their reservation disappeared right after they dropped the video. Like everybody was canceling it. It looked like Battlestar Galactica with the cheesy actor kid from what's it
the Goldbergs.
The Goldbergs, yeah, he was on it, and it was very just bland, and it was very like they brought him in to try to make it like funny and entertaining, and it was like, dude, you're making it sound worse, you know, like this is not, you're not helping. So yeah,
this is like I'm Disney and I'm playing poker right now, right? I have jumped, but I just like put in like 200 grand into the pot. I just raised it 200 grand, and everybody's like, call. And Disney's like, are you sure? I'm betting a lot here. It's like, this is what it feels like.
This is the worst game of Sabak ever.
Yeah. I guess the surprises will continue to come through, man. You know.
Yeah. There's been some leaks regarding some more Kenobi plot details if people are interested.
No.
Rumor is no. Okay, just take your headphones off for a second. Rumors are saying that a 10-year-old Princess Leia will find herself kidnapped and trouble in a cantina, not the cantina on Tatooine. It's a different planet. This means Obi-Wan has to step in and protect the young Jedi. This leak appears to have been announced in the wake of people going, well, it's all going to be on Tatooine, and I don't want to watch it if it's all on Tatooine.
I could have told you it wasn't going to be all on Tatooine anyway.
Also, if people weren't aware, the actress who's been cast for young Leia is Vivian Lyra Blair. She was in Bird Box and also We Can Be Heroes. Very, very talented young actress. Very, very sweet, adorable. Ooh. And then I have a couple of bits of Andor news, which I know is coming up at the end of the year. I am super excited.
Is that all the way at the end of the year?
Yeah.
Are they going to drop it at the same time they do Mandalorian?
No, they're doing
Season 3?
I think.
Because if they do it, Andor ain't going to do crap because I'm watching Mandalorian.
That's fair. According to film music reporter, Emmy Award-winning composer Nicholas Britell has been officially signed on to score the music. Diego Luna's returning as Cassian Andor. Genevieve O'Reilly is returning as Mon Mothma. And Alan Tudyk is playing K2SO. Reportedly, Forrest Whitaker and Ben Mendelsohn are reprising their roles as Saw Gerrera and Orson
Yes! I love Forrest Whitaker! Yes! I'm sorry. I loved his role.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I fangirled a little bit. I can't help that. I love his acting. I've always loved his acting. And when he was in Star Wars, I was like, yo, that's Forrest Whitaker. That's cool.
This is amazing.
I was like, this is great.
There is also some additional cast with roles that haven't been assigned yet. We've got Dennis Goh, Stellan Skarsgård, Kyle Soller, and Adria Arjona, and executive producer Tony Gilroy, who was involved in Rogue One. So I think it's a really, really star-studded cast. I'm super excited. We don't know very much about the plot at the moment or any kind of details. We just know it's a big cast. And
it's about Andor.
Ooh, well, yeah, I know. Don't make me look stupid in front of the guest, please. I'll cry. That is me done for the news, ladies and gentlemen. That's me done for the news.
D. Garrison, y'all got anything y'all know about? Anything special?
Anything you are
Dude,
actually
my
at
biggest thing
liberty
was
to
that
say?
John Williams was coming for Kenobi, so I was pumped about that.
You
So
probably stole it.
excited. I did steal it.
I
I
wasn't-
leaked it before
Well,
anybody else
she
leaked
found
it.
it.
So
Yeah.
Do you have anything, D? Anything that you're at liberty and able to say without
Yeah,
having
dude.
any issues?
You got any
with
insider
Lucasfilm?
knowledge?
Without getting in any trouble?
Yeah. It's good. Yeah. There's this thing happening, and it always happens, and it's called an NDA. And it's just,
yeah, we know about those.
Those are always fun. They're great legal.
Harrison, how do you
Wait,
think you
what?
get around this?
that's another thing as a Star Wars fan. It's just like, yeah, I'm on an NDA. Wow. You know?
Hey, I'm taking law. Let me look over that thing. I'll
that-
find
There's
a
any-
plot hole.
let me see if there's any holes in
find
this
a-
where you can
I'll
at
find a
liberty say
hole.
something.
Loophole.
Where you don't Tom Holland or Mark Ruffalo the situation.
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to all of those shows, and also looking forward to like when they're setting them. You know, Star Wars has been amazing in terms of always posing these questions. You know, so this is a healing spot. So all the questions people have and things people demand that they want to see and think that it's not going in the right direction and things like that. Always remember, you're only on page 1, okay? And that's not of any particular chapter, because George didn't even start with episode 1, right? And so with all these things that are coming out, it's this amazing puzzle of questions being answered. It's like, I fought in the Clone Wars alongside your father. It's like, if that was released today, people are like, what? Why did you even put that in there? That's a waste of dialogue. That's a waste of space. Do you know what I mean? And then how long did you have to wait
That's a
before
good
you
point.
saw? Well, how long did you have to wait before you saw the Clone Wars? You know, Boba Fett. You go, what? I wonder what he looks like underneath that helmet. How long did you have to wait? Yeah, all of the questions gonna be answered, just not in that particular chapter. So it's like when you have this feeling, it's like, I want to see this happen and this should happen. You know, you hear anybody say that, just hold up your finger and go like this. Turn the page. Yeah. Unless what you want to see will comprise of everything that's in this episode and also connect to what's already been shot. Yeah, it won't make any sense, you know. And also this thing about what characters you actually follow. You know, we're not following technically Boba Fett. We're following his association to Din Djarin. Why? Because Din Djarin is connected to someone who has the Force. Yeah, we're not seeing Luke. We're not seeing Ahsoka for no reason. You know, this whole family, you know, that we're being connected to through characters you've only seen or heard of in comics or in the cartoons. You know, they're not popping up for no reason. They all funnel through this same channel, which is connected to the Force. So at some point, you always have to go back to what the story's about, who the story's about. Yeah, and the story isn't about a particular person, it's about the Force. Yeah, how does that story, how do these characters tie us into that? And then with that kind of concept, I watched the first Mandalorian season, I thought, it blew me away, man. It got me, right? I was hooked, and I said, well, season 2's coming. I'm not even going to watch that while that's aired. I'm going to wait until that's all done, and I'll watch it as much as I can in any one sitting. You know, and then I see all these people pop up. I knew they were coming because people that love Star Wars just say, this person's in it, this person's in it. And you can't avoid, but you can avoid the context, yeah, because no one ever really knows that, you know. So when they turned up, all I saw was this. I saw they've created the live action Clone Wars, Rebels. This is what they are doing, and they're using the Grandmaster to do it. Yeah, so these are all micro mini stories which funnel in and tie to these force wielding beings, you know. And so with all of that, I sit back, you know, and I end up at the end of the day with my own questions, man. I'm like, he's got that spear that's made out of, what was it made out of?
Beskar.
Beskar.
Beskar. He's got a spear made out of Beskar. and that's all that's made from it, right? I'm like, and then I see Cod Vance, and then I hear Cad Bane say, "You should have kept your armor," and I'm like, what if Mando's made him some armor? Right? So I'm waiting to see that, right? And but if it happens,
you heard it. It just got confirmed by Details. Everybody, he just dropped the major leak here.
How's that go? Way to go, Garrison.
I'm just kidding.
There goes that NDA.
I'm just playing.
But you know, those types of questions that don't get me tied into where I think the plot's going, because also as a kid, I mean, I'd ask you, you know, what drew you to Star Wars, but it was no preconceived notion you ever had. No. Yeah, everything that we've been given, and you think about it with Marvel as well. Everything you've been given, it's like what's that phrase? You get what you're given.
Yes.
Right, and they're telling you the story the way they want to tell it, based on all of this stuff from Joseph Campbell. Yeah, and so it's never ever going to be that kind of linear story, because like I said, he didn't start with episode 1. So it's this puzzle, and you're just figuring these things out. Where do they fit? Oh, they fit in there like that. And it's the guessing that should be beautiful about Star Wars. You know,
Lucas, that he was the master of marketing.
Oh,
he was the master of marketing, because the thing is, you have to keep people asking questions in order to keep them watching. And every episode, we are asking questions. What's going to happen next? Who is this person? Why is this person here? You know, it's just question after question, and that's the reason that they put plot holes in it. They put plot holes in it because they have to be able to fill them plot holes at some time. So you're like, when is this going to happen? What happened here? Why is it? And then what happens? You watch the next thing that's coming out, and that's why Star Wars is one of the greatest franchises of all time.
But think about it this way. When they're completely, I don't think they're ever going to be done, but when they're completely done and you connect this thing all up, it'll be the biggest epic story ever, because no one will be able to contend with it, because it has the comics to follow it, has the books to follow it, has the cartoons to follow it, has all these separate micro stories from Mandalorian to Boba Fett, all these things fill in all these gaps. It's going to be absolutely epic. I don't think anybody's going to be able to start watching it from episode 1 and still be alive by the time they get to when they finish. you know, but I think these things are so emotionally charging. And I always have to kind of like emphasize to always remember that there's a next page coming. I've heard some passionate people pour out their hearts, you know, and it's like, oh, just chill, man, just chill. You know, it might not be even in the next episode. It might be in 20 years. Don't worry. You know? You know? But it's always there. It's always there, you know. But look, my question to you guys, what was your first introduction to Star Wars?
Can I go?
Yeah, you can go.
The cat.
My first introduction to Star Wars was from my grandfather during Christmas time. I told the 1313 podcast this, but I'm glad I get to share it with you too. Was Empire Strikes Back. That was my grandfather's ultimate Christmas movie. My grandma wanted to put on Polar Express. Grandpa was like, nope, it's Christmas time. We're putting on Empire. And I hadn't seen A New Hope. I hadn't seen Return. I hadn't seen anything else except for Empire. Like
wow.
So I'd watched Empire like I think 2 years in a row before I was like, Grandpa, is there more? And he's like, oh yeah. Oh, buddy, you have no idea. And I fell in love. That's how I fell in love with Boba Fett, because Boba Fett was like this mysterious character. Vader, you know, gets in his face, is like no disintegration. Like, I want to know what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
What do you mean no disintegration? Is there a backstory? And I was like asking so many questions, and I fell in love with it. And it progressed through the years. I have memories with my grandpa still. Like even now, he'll message me. He's like, "Oh, did you see this?" We watched Clone Wars together through the 6 seasons, and like it was an every Friday event. It was just amazing. It was just, I think Star Wars has honestly just been the best part of my life so far. I mean, it led me to these guys. It led me to this crew, and it led me to be a complete geek in openness and happiness. So.
That's the real place. That's the real place to be. It's just the open heart. It's on your sleeve, you know.
I mean, I do have it on my arm. I have I mean, it's right there. I mean, it's not coming off. This isn't an add-on like little get wet sticker. This is permanent.
Yeah, a lot of love and respect for that, for sure.
I was given a VHS copy of The Phantom Menace by my mum when I was about 9 years old. Fell in love like instantly. Had no previous preconceptions of Star Wars. My parents weren't terribly big Star Wars fans. They knew the films existed, but they weren't, that fond of them. So it was just me by myself with my copy of The Phantom Menace. And I think I watched that for about 2 years because I didn't realize there was anything else.
Wow.
I didn't realize there was Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. So I'm very lucky.
You got in deep with the Anakin story, and now you're seeing it all explode and
yeah. I'm very lucky in the fact that I got to watch Star Wars in the way George wanted it to be watched. That was my experience. I didn't watch the original trilogy till I was maybe sort of 16, 17 years old because it wasn't my Star Wars. It wasn't connected to the story for me, but I got to see the progression, and it made, by the time I'd seen Return of the Jedi, it made Vader's redemption so much more painful and heartbreaking and emotional because I'd had that lead up. Star Wars has always been a part of my life, like all of these guys.
The thing about those prequels is the way that it all looks, it's fairy tale. Yeah? Everything's supposed to look fairy tale before it all crashes and burns. And if you're delving into it on that level, then you see you're actually, it's almost like living that beauty into the desolation that is to come. Yeah, that's heavy. Okay.
Seriously,
Dude, for me, honestly, I can't even remember. I just grew up with it. Like, it was just the movie that my dad put on for me to watch, and I just grew up watching Star Wars, and so I don't have a specific memory when I was first exposed to it. It was just it was always there. There's always been Star Wars.
Wow.
One memory I do have is whenever I would want to watch Star Wars, and my dad wasn't there, my mom would be like, no, because every time I'd watch Star Wars, I'd immediately get super psyched. I'd get my toy lightsaber and I'd run around the house hitting everything. Me and my brother would go ham on each other. And inevitably you accidentally actually hit them, and then they actually do get mad, and then you're actually fighting
or something.
So my mom just wanted to avoid that whole thing, and she'd be like, no, we're not watching Star Wars today.
But I can imagine you knew what you were doing. It was like, oh, can we watch Star Wars? You got the lightsabers. You get ready.
Exactly. But I loved it. So it was always Star Wars for me.
my first memory, because I'm old. But my first memory was in 1983 when I was 5 or 6 at that point, when Star Wars, when Return of the Jedi came out. And my mom took me to go see, me and my sister and my little brother, to go see the movie. I don't know why she brought my little brother. He was like 2. But I remember getting really, really scared and petrified and then getting beat. That was my first memory of Star Wars, because I was scared of Jabba the Hutt. At 6 years old, he scared the shit out of me. Like, what the hell? And we had to leave the theater, and my mom beat me because she paid money for us to go to the theater, and then I cried and we got kicked out of the theater.
Every time you tell it.
Every time.
Still to this day, I am 44 years old, and still to this day, when I watch Jabba, I shake like.
My mom has that. My mom has a similar story, because my mom went to go see Empire with my grandma. And my mom was afraid of Darth Vader and started bawling. And my grandma took her out into the hallway of the movie theater in Ontario, whooped her ass, and said, "You either get back in there and watch that movie, or we're going home." And my mom's like, "I want to go home." And then so
that was my first. But then after that, it probably wasn't until I was a little bit older, and I grew up in part of my young life in L.A. and then I moved to Denver. And I didn't live in the best of neighborhoods, so being a Star Wars fan wasn't something that you could do. You can't be running through the hood wearing some Star Wars crap. You're about to get beat. So, but I kind of I always watched the movies, and then as I got a little bit older, I started getting into the books, and then I wanted another movie, and then I just went into this. Like I wrote George every week for like, I don't know, years. It was a couple years. I wrote him every week because I was like, when you going to come out with some more? This doesn't make no sense. When is this going to finish? There got to be more or something after, and I just wrote them. And then I got to reading the books, and then when they came out with audio books, I started listening to the audio books, and then it just journeyed on to more stuff and more Star Wars. I can't get enough Star Wars. It's addictive to me.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to hear that, you know. And that hunger, you know. It's we all have it. We all crave for it, you know. Whether it's as a Star Wars fan, or people with Harry Potter fans, or Lord of the Rings fans, there is something special about the nature of these movies and the stories that are being told, you know, which do date back and go back to everything Joseph Campbell was talking about in terms of how you tell a story, you know, how you set the scene, how you set it up. And I think in the 80s or the late 70s, it's the equivalent to how when they did the first Matrix, bullet time coming out, and everyone going crazy. Bullet time. Yeah. Within 6 months, you know, of that movie coming out, you're seeing that really good stuff being used on an advert for, I don't know, for cheese or something.
Yeah.
you know, bullet time cheese flying at you. So it's just like, huh? But in the 70s, it wouldn't be 6 months. It would be something like decades before people got their head around what ILM were doing, you know, and how they were using the skill set they had to tell these stories. I mean, we've got everything in there, from the stories from almost like the princess and the prince and things like that too, to go on about that. But you have this sense of this journey that is somewhat familiar. It's set in space, though. It's set in space. I'm accepting all of this stuff, and they've got stop motion stuff in there. I can already accept that. I already dig that. They've got CGI in there. Okay, I can dig that. You know, unless you're watching the very first cut of like the special edition with Han Solo walking over the back of Jabba, you know, and it's just chick, you know. They released that in the cinema. You know, I didn't see the smoothed out version until I got the DVD, right? But you accept all of these things, and puppets and droids and stuff. You just accept it.
Yeah.
But
I think beautiful. I tell a lot of people one of the biggest reasons I love Star Wars so much, because as we deal with everything in our everyday lives, you know, when you get to go home and throw on the Clone Wars or the Book of Boba Fett or whatever it is, for that time period, you don't have to worry about the rest of the world. You can be stuck in that fantasy, and you can be immersed into that world without having to worry about whether or not your rent is paid, or whether or not your car is going to run right, or what's going on at your job, or nothing else in the world matters except that fantasy of Star Wars at that moment. That's what draws you in. That's what keeps you. You don't have to worry about nothing else. The world is just, it's gone. It's all about Star Wars when you put Star Wars on.
Fairy tale is supposed to do. That is why the reading of these fairy tales to children at a very young age helps that imagination to kind of like immerse itself into this fantasy world, which they can create. Yeah, they can visualize it, they can see a picture or whatever, you know, and you know how good we are as kids at seeing something like that. Next thing you know, we've got the figures and we're reenacting, you know. It's that imprint is always there, but this way of tapping into fantasy and teaching within fantasy, you know, getting a child ready for the real world and some of those decisions that need to be made. Because every child that has that story read to them or sees this movie is the hero in their own story. You know, you're the heroes of your own story, so you kind of grow with that. But as a staple diet, as a kid, you can't get any better than that, because no one's reading Little Red Riding Hood anymore. No one's reading that stuff anymore. You know, it's all the modern fairy tales that are pulling still to this day from all of the good staple stuff. I mean, that's what it pulls on your heartstrings. It pulls on everything. I mean, I was watching season 2 of Mandalorian, and I was bawling my eyes out. At the simplest of things. And even I have to say, even in the Book of Boba, when Din Djarin says, "I came all this way," he's right there. Oh my God, my heart was like, oh.
I think that got everybody.
I think the thing that got me in that whole series is when Grogu shows up on Tatooine and jumps in his arms.
Oh,
that hit me harder. Like I took that, and that's like, okay, I gotta let him grow. I gotta let him be him. I can't keep babying him. He needs to learn. And when he came back, I was like, oh, he chose him. He said, "Screw you, Luke. You went to Tatooine. Oh no!" And like when he force jumped into his chest, I was like, "That is a moment I will never forget." That has always been something that's like, since I've watched that episode, it has just been stuck in my head. It's just the leap into his arms, like, and then he pulls down. He's like, "Oh, you're wearing the chainmail. Oh, I missed you too, little buddy," kind of moment. And it's like, "Yep, you got me. Way to go. You got me. I haven't cried yet. I'm crying now."
But look, that's right in the middle of this story. That's right in the middle of some whatever's going on, but we're still there. We're hanging on the coattails of these heroes and heroines out there. And it's just done so masterfully and beautifully. But I do love the peace of mind that I got, and I say I got this peace of mind as a Spider-Man fan. Right now, I love Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, right? But as a Spider-Man fan, I'm like, Spider-Man don't shoot real webs out of his wrist. I'm like, what's that? No, Spider-Man, right? So and I got used to that, and just as I got over that, they give me, Spider-Man 2 with the best villain, Doc Ock, and an amazing fight sequence, and I get to see him in the costume. I'm like, yeah, and they messed up a little bit due to politics on the third one. So, but then I just kind of said, okay, well, only those 2 movies exist for me.
Yeah.
Right? They got it so wrong, right? And then the new one came out with Andrew Garfield, and then Sony said, we're not going to spend any time telling you about his backstory. You've heard that too many times. Then they spent 45 minutes giving you his backstory, and I'm like, but Peter Parker ain't cool. He don't ride no skateboard. I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe it's like the comics. So one artist did Tobey Maguire's version, and another artist is doing Andrew Garfield's version. Okay, wake me up when Todd McFarlane comes back, right? And and then Tom Holland comes along, and I'm like, okay, this feels right. I'm not, but I'm exhausted. I'm not. It's amazing anymore. It's like I watch Homecoming. I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's nice. And I love it. I think, okay, right. But it's when I got to understand that I could appreciate those in that way, it kind of did ease up on the fact that I'm like, oh, the worst thing, I'm waiting. I've got to wait how many movies now for them to explain that? I'm like, okay, well, what if it's this? What if it's that? What if it's this? Okay, cool. But I kind of let it go and then just move on to the next thing and think that the simple things like, is that all that Beskar made? Is that best? So I was like, but it's those things. It's like you're saying, Carl, it keeps you questioning, like, wow, what about this? What about that? And it keeps you hanging on while you're deep in tears flowing from your eyes and tissue and go, oh my God. And what do you mean he ain't in the Creed no more? All these types of things. And yeah, I love that that's the most stress that I can have in terms of having that amount of joy and that escapism. When I sit down there, yeah, I turn the lights off, man. I put it on speaker sound speaker thing on or whatever, and I, technically I would be afraid of the Hutts too, because I don't really like slugs or snails. They're just this. Now, Carl, they don't make no sense because I don't know why they're here. I don't know what they do. They don't provide any food for a hedgehog. I don't know why they're here. No need. So you know me. It's these things and people that look scary, and Walt Disney discovered that. scary. It was in Snow White. The kids were petrified. He says, "Yeah,
the
but
Wicked Queen and the Horrible Forest. Yeah, no. Ooh.
yeah." And he
Terrifying.
said, "You have to be terrified, and kids do. But just make sure you see the bad guys or whoever it is get it in the end.
Yeah.
All right. So, do we want to get to this quiz?
Yeah.
Are you ready, D?
Oh, God,
this
quiz,
is gonna be
bro.
No, I think so.
No.
this is.
He's gonna kill
It
us.
brings Charlie joy to make us all look like idiots. I swear.
What do you mean by that?
It's very, very hard quiz.
Oh.
This quiz is like none of us is gonna have the answers to this.
Okay.
And if we do, we get so happy when we have the answer.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it.
I go out of my way to make this hard.
Well, now, you insufferable want rats, it's time for Charlie's impossible quiz.
Oh my goodness, let's go. Question number 1. Which one of these is not a traditional jizz instrument? A peel rod, a balisette, or a narlagon? CJ?
The first one?
No.
Oh, I wasn't going
Any
to say
of
it
them?
because it sounded
one.
so weird. I think
Garrison, any guesses?
A Naragon.
No.
oh, wow. Okay.
He said the last one. What was the last one?
I can't lie. I was going to say that.
No, the answer is a balisette. A balisette is a musical instrument from the novel Dune. So a peel rod and a narlagon are traditional
That
jizz
is-
instruments.
That is
Oh,
not
that's a
even
trick question. There was 2 of them.
That was
There was 2. Wow. Wow. It's like 2 truths and a lie right now.
Uh-huh.
That's what she said. She said, "Which one is not?"
Not okay with me.
I have something that's a jizz instrument.
No.
Oh
Oh,
man!
God.
Ah.
Question number 2. What is the name of the planet where Jyn Erso is rescued from the Empire by the Rebel Alliance, and why does it have that name?
Oh.
What planet was
I
it?
just watched
Yeah.
Rogue One.
The Star Wars planet they were on.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Iceland.
Iceland. No. Good
Not
shot.
where they filmed.
Get your hands up, Garrison. You Google it. I see the damn
can
phone
see
flashing in your face.
My phone is right here. Look, nothing.
Get off your laptop. You're cheating. You should have
I
no
would have
flashing
answered
going
if
on.
if I was cheating. I would have answered.
Rural Farm Boy, you were 100% correct. The name of the planet is Wobani, which is an anagram for Obi-Wan.
Ah.
Oh, it
We do-
is, huh?
We do like to
That is-
recycle in Star
hey.
Wars.
I wonder if Pablo Hidalgo had named that. He had a particular knack for naming characters and actors through their anagrams. Yeah.
Nice. Question number 3. Who is responsible for the smashing of Kylo Ren's helmet in The Last Jedi?
Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
CJ?
No, calling him a boy. Snow
No.
caused him
You
to get
are
mad.
all incorrect.
Kylo, we watched him smash it in the
He
elevator.
literally
We
got
seen him
told
do
you're-
it.
You're a
How
boy
you gonna
in a
tell us
mask.
we're
He went
wrong?
into the elevator and smashed the hell out of it.
Oh,
What are you
the
talking
elevator is
about?
responsible for being
The
there.
elevator is responsible for being there. No.
The elevator's way. Was it Hux?
This is a trick question.
This is a trick question.
Good question. Ryan Johnson smashed Kylo Ren's helmet.
Oh, okay.
What? Why would Ryan Johnson be smashing his helmet? What did he do? Hit him with a bat?
We know why.
He stamped on the prop personally before adding it back into the scene.
Oh,
Okay.
All right.
Because, you know,
Artistic.
interesting choices, Mr. Johnson. Interesting choices. Question number 4. What in-universe music genre is associated with death stick culture? Kyle?
jizz.
No.
What's that question again?
What in-universe music genre is associated with death stick culture? CJ?
Oh, it's in universe. I was gonna say like our universe. I was gonna say
Like
techno,
death metal?
but
Techno. No.
yeah, no, okay.
Techno acid.
I will
It makes
accept-
sense.
I will accept the real world musical genre equivalent. So just throw some musical genres at me, and if you get it, then you get the point.
How is it not?
Death metal.
Huh?
House music.
No? Garrison, what did you say?
Death metal.
Yes.
Really?
Why does he? Why does he get this?
Death sticks, death metal. Come on.
Ethnic culture is associated with the musical genre called heavy isotope.
Yes, Garrison.
Why is this a
Luckiest
thing?
guy ever.
This is why he's in the
All over when I
lead.
yelled that. There's like spit on my microphone because I was excited.
I thought he was doing one of those, you know.
No, just I got it.
We are suffering technical difficulties.
Oh my goodness. Question number
I'm not
5.
Googling.
That was
I'm
an
not
ugly-
fucking Googling. It makes me so mad.
That's going up now. I'm going to keep that up there just so you're reminded.
Google it.
No,
Question number
I think he's
5.
really genuine with his answers, so I think
What's-
he's got it.
What served as the main influence for John Williams' iconic soundtrack for A New Hope? Here's a test of your classical music. Kyle?
Sex.
No.
Why?
Boy, the name of the music is
What
Gin.
did you
So
say? No, I'm
No,
talking
they-
the entire score. Bach? No.
Beethoven.
That was spooky. You both said that at the same time. No, not Beethoven.
Mozart.
Dee, have you got any guesses?
Mozart.
No.
That's all I can think of.
Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky. No,
Wow.
I'm impressed with these
Wow.
guesses, boys. Rural
Tupac.
Fanboy. You're at it. You are at it again. The entire soundtrack for Tupac. Yeah. Yes. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Drop that track. No, the inspiration for John Williams' soundtrack for A New Hope was Gustav Holst's The Planets, which is one of the most famous classical music suites. Mars, Jupiter, all of that. Fun fact, the original first draft cut of A New Hope, Gustav Holst's Planet Suite was used as the music, and then that was given to John Williams to go, this is what we're going for, this is what we want to work with, can you compose off of this? Which I think is insane. That's so cool. So the original, Star Wars A New Hope was edited to the Planet Suite.
So,
That's
other
insane.
words, John Williams is just a biter. He just bit somebody else's music.
No, because at this point in John Williams' career, this was one of his first composing jobs, one of his first big kind of huge full movie score, and he was still really new and kind of inexperienced, and he took what he learned from doing that process and brought us infinite amounts of incredible music. He is a literal musical genius. I don't know why all these questions ended up being music themed, guys. I'm so sorry. Question number 6. In Star Wars music theory, so in universe music theory, what's the equivalent of the C major key?
I don't even know what a C major is. How you gonna ask me a question like that?
I want to go home.
I want to go home.
Ma! Charlie's being mean again.
Oh, sorry, rural fanboy. Nobody
I'm
anymore.
Googling.
No.
No, in
No, you're
Star
not
Wars
Googling.
music theory and compoposition, the C major key is known as the key of Kresh.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, of course you would.
Yeah, man, Charlie, we just let you have that one, you know? We all knew the
Okay.
answer.
Okay, that's, I appreciate it. Sydney, I love this answer. This is very funny. 10 out of 10.
A Max Rebo fart. That's what it was called.
Question number 7. What is the device called that we see Palpatine suspended in at the end of Rise of Skywalker when he's all
A chair?
Rapid?
a chair? No. There is a very specific name for what he is in, and it is the first live action viewing of this. It's another Star
Oh
Wars.
man, I just got done listening to the book.
Sorry, D, I didn't catch
the same
that.
thing Boba gets in.
No.
Back to no, it's
That that sort of arm that moves him around.
Oh,
because he can't-
it's
Yeah,
it's like regeneration, some arm or something like that. I just listened to it in the book. It was in the book in the retelling, the Tom
it the
Cross
Iron
retelling
Man?
of Star
Crane
Wars.
chair.
a
Crane
crane
chair.
chair. No.
Yeah, something like
Okay,
a
cool. Nobody heard you.
regeneration
That's
or not regeneration. Why do I want to keep saying regeneration? Has something like life support crane, life
I was gonna say
support.
the iron lung.
Something.
The Iron Lung.
The
Wow.
iron lung.
You might be a better name for it.
Palpatine is suspended in something called an Omin harness. The Omin harness was a mechanical spine worn by frail individuals to provide support and maneuverability. The device existed in ancient times as the Sith King Omin reportedly wore one. Because he was so corrupted by the dark side, his body did not function. So he built this crane that both provides him with life support and.
To see the appeal of the dark side. You know,
I'm not.
I'm not seeing the winning attributes here.
Omni harness.
Hey, you gotta be like me, man. You gotta be like Darth Vader. I just live forever, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, jeez.
But Palpatine definitely looked like Sidious looked like he was pretty frail, so he probably needed one of those because his fingers was gone and he was kind of messed up.
He chewed them off out of stress. Question number 8. Which Star Wars movie features Gary in a cameo, Carrie Fisher's beloved dog?
There was a dog in Star Wars?
The Force Awakens.
No.
Oh, I was thinking the first one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I ain't gonna say that no more. I do know. The Last Jedi.
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna guess that.
He is.
Got to operate some of the stuff inside there, and it's animatronics. Yeah.
Nice. He's in the casino scene. He's at the feet of one of the characters at one of the tables, which is too.
I didn't even know there was a dog in Star Wars at all.
Her dog in Star Wars, her daughter in Star Wars, and she is in Star Wars. She is a legend, and she is very well missed.
Damn straight. Question number 9. In which Star Wars film is Hira Syndulla mentioned by name? CJ?
Rogue One.
Yes. You were so fast on that. Yes.
I knew it because if you listen to them when they're zooming in to go into
quit talking about my wife before we have a problem.
No, you want me to fly to you? You're gonna fly to me because we'll get it. Let's go.
You fly first or I fly first? Who flies first?
We meet halfway. No, while they're zooming into the base, you'll hear Captain Syndulla, please come to the briefing room.
Yes.
And the droid from Rebels is in that scene as well.
Yes, Chopper is in that scene rolling out to the ghost, and if you look out from the distance, you'll see the ghost.
Yeah.
I gotta watch Rogue One again. I'm missing out on a bunch of stuff. I didn't see none of that.
I wish you could see Zeb though, because you'll hear Hera, but you don't see Zeb. But you see Chopper, the most violent droid to ever exist. He makes R2 look soft, in my opinion. Here's
a little story. When I was being fitted for the L1 suit, and I was on set, and there's a picture of Neil inspecting me in the suit. And that was the same day I'd seen a Chopper rolling about, and I'd wanted just to meet Chopper while I was in my suit, and it didn't get to happen. But that one moment, I was like, "Oh, L1 and Chopper just need to meet." So yeah, there was that moment.
Dylan says Chopper is a straight up war criminal.
I'm sorry, L3 and Chopper would make a great duo. Think about it. Droid rights and a droid that isn't afraid to kill. They'll get
Hey, Chopper took out a lot of droids in Rebels.
That sounds a little scary to me, bro.
That's a comic series in itself.
Yeah.
That sounds like a terrorist organization waiting to happen.
No. A bunch of droids that will say no. That's it. Eat poodle.
I'm gonna question number 10. What was the working title / code name for Solo during its shooting?
You should know this, D.
I do know this. Do you know it?
I don't know what it is. Floppy wet dog.
Indiana.
No.
Red Cup.
Yeah. Red Cup, like Red Solo Cup.
Red Solo Cup. I fill you up. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. Oh, such a good song.
That is a good song. Tight out. I've only got 2 more questions for you guys, I promise. In Clone Wars, we meet the droid AC. What is his full name?
No. Why is it
Astro
called?
Zebra.
No.
Oh, no.
AZ2134.
No.
That sounds close. That
sounded pretty accurate. That sounded like one of those wild Garrison questions. Or
Nope.
11/18/1998.
No.
Your birthday don't count.
If Garrison guessed this accurately, I think you need to go and see like Mensa.
Oh, no.
Anybody got any more guesses?
AC-12.
AC, no.
Dylan, you were wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, Dylan.
AZ F-150.
No,
Yeah, like that one.
Hayden. The answer, AZ's full
46.
name is AZI 3452118962464987213447.
Why would anybody know that?
Why
Like,
is that a
nobody
thing?
in the world knows the
Why is
answer
that
to
even
this.
a thing? Why is
I was
that
gonna
a
say,
thing?
if I guessed that correctly, for sure that was Google.
That was beyond Google. They had the dictionary right there, character dictionary. Flip it through it
I
real
have
quick.
a Google
AZ.
chip in my ear. Like,
What movie does that droid appear in?
That's in
He's in Clone Wars.
Okay, so it's no one I know who would be responsible for that. No one.
My final question. You're a sneaky one because you've actually already said the answer to this question. So
Just start naming off all the stuff that D said.
I want to see if these three were listening and paying attention. We all remember the character Slow and Low, especially you, D. But what inspired the character's name?
Jizz.
No.
Did any of you listen?
I was
music,
listening, but
music.
there's
It was
so
the
much
R&B
to
music.
intake. He had so much words of wisdom. I'm trying to remember it all. Why is that? Why? Why do you got to do this to us?
Garrison is close, but I need the specific.
I know that slow and low
answer.
in LA
I thought it
means
was-
because you
it
got a
was
low rider
music
and you riding it
music.
slow and low off of the.
So close.
Why?
Ignore the. Don't look at the chat. Nobody look at the chat. We're all fucking up.
I already looked at it. I'm sorry. I couldn't help.
No, Slow and Low is a reference to the Beastie Boys song "Slow and Low." J.J. Abrams, who EP'd the film, is a huge Beastie Boys fan and has worked references into them in many of his previous films.
Bro.
Of course.
Tempo.
Beastie Boys is dope,
Oh.
though.
Oh, jeez.
Damn straight. Thank you, everybody, for participating in Charlie's Impossible Quiz. It's been another sensational episode, as always.
You already say that. Sensational to get our butt whooped, huh? And just not look like a bunch of idiots all the time.
1 point. I averaged 2. You.
I didn't get no points. What are you talking about?
I think D won this episode. Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like I wrote loads of the questions about him.
It might be a give. It might be a give.
D, once again, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you with us. This has been a fantastic show. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and sharing so much wisdom and so much incredible conversation with us. Genuinely, it shone a whole new light on how I view Star Wars. I can't thank you enough. Genuinely.
This was
And
amazing.
I only want to kill half of the people in Star Wars.
Yes.
I don't want to kill them all, so it's okay.
He's still a
it helped
Sith.
me out.
He's gonna try.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Carl, Charlie, CJ, and Garrison. It's yeah, I love talking Star Wars with people that are passionate about Star Wars. And it's that instant family connection. It's that place that we all know and love. It's it's not a strange book somebody else is reading. You haven't read it yet. You might have read a different chapter, but it's a beautiful thing for bringing beautiful people together. I just love, and we've been given some amazing stuff lately to see, and it's amazing that this rebirth has come with Grogu and everything that comes with Grogu. From Mando to Boba to everybody else that appears. Oh, and Ahsoka. Oh, love Ahsoka. so yeah, thank you so much. It's been a great fun being here.
A
We really
pleasure.
enjoyed having you here. And
It's awesome.
Thank you for everyone for joining in the chat, everyone who watched the show live today. As always, you can catch us on Wednesdays and Saturdays. This Wednesday, we're talking Rebels because I've never seen Rebels. So we're going to throw me headfirst into that and see what happens. I'm excited.
yeah, and we're gonna cover episode 1 and 2 because they're a 2-part thing. It's a to be
Fair.
continued.
Yep.
Another thing is next Saturday is our big Star Wars Cosplay Appreciation Day is coming out. So everybody, make sure you get that stuff out there, all the cosplayers, because it's going to be a blast to have all the cosplayers come on the show and talk about Star Wars and talk about their journey as being cosplayer and creating their own costumes and decorations and all that stuff.
All this love in the chat for D. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey, Nick. Lots of love to you guys. Thank you for actually coming to see the show and listening and everything. So yeah, I guess Ray's gonna be. Is Ray turning up at that cosplay thing?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna take
who are you guys?
the box.
So I created my own character. I'm Darth Sway. If you look at the Star Wars and 10 Instagram, you'll see pictures of me on there. And I think, do you got some? I think we did a show where I was in costume. I think our very first show that we did.
Yeah, our first live show was done in costume.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Garrison dressed up as George Lucas. It was absolutely brilliant.
I was a mechanic for the Millennium Falcon.
Exactly.
And everybody got to understand when it comes to this cosplay thing, this next one on the 26th, our appreciation day for cosplay. Garrison has got the best costume ever that he is coming out with. Y'all got to tune in to see his costume.
He won't tell me, and I'm upset.
Okay.
I know what it is though, and I'm so excited.
All of you.
How do you
I know what it is too. I'm the one
It was
that came up
Kyle's
with the
idea.
Well, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be one of the most hilarious things you ever see.
Whenever I see cosplayers, it's the only time I'm like, oh, where's my suit? I want to be in one.
Dude, you got the best cosplay ever. You actually got to be
We
in the
cosplay.
movies.
You get to be in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a trade-off. I mean, there's that there too. But
You're a professional cosplayer is what it is.
you go to the costume, it's like, oh yeah, that is so cool.
Again, thank you everybody for joining us this week. It has been a fantastic show. Again, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, drop us a subscribe, give this video a like, make sure you hit the notification bell to join our live shows. And as always, be kind, be safe, and may the force be with every single one of you always. Have a fantastic
Thank you for
rest of
tuning into LSR. If you enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. They're linked in the show notes below. LightSaber Radio is produced by Pick Film Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Charlie Harwood, Garrison Turcott, CJ Elliott, and Carl McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.